My boyfriend, who I live with, works as a teacher in town about 15 minutes away by train. He gets home more or less at the same time every day, give or take an hour or so. I, on the other hand, work from home. In late January of this year, we had gotten into a pretty big fight about something stupid. I can't even remember now what it was about, but it was one of those fights where we didn't speak to each other, text, call, or anything for the whole next day. So, this afternoon I was laying in bed, getting work done. It was a Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure his last class finishes at 1 p.m. on Tuesdays, meaning he should be home around 2:30. But around 1 p.m., I heard the front door open and shut. I thought, I guess he's home an hour early today. It was normal for him to skip his last class every once in a while, so I didn't think anything of it. In fact, I was mostly mentally preparing for the awkward post-fight, "Hey, how's it going?" conversation. So I continued to lay in bed and do my work and wait for him to come in and change his clothes. The bedroom door was closed and I had earplugs sort of half in, as I usually do when I'm working. But I could hear heavy footsteps of him walking around the apartment, as he always does. If we hadn't been in mid-fight, and if I wasn't so preoccupied with the awkwardness of it all, I might have noticed that it was strange how slow the footsteps were, and how long he spent walking around the living room. But I was caught up in the dramatics of the fight, and didn't think about it. I was just laying there, waiting and waiting for him to finally come in. Finally, the bedroom door slowly opened, just a few inches. I turned my head towards the door, and prepared to give him a sort of awkward, "We've been fighting 24 hours, huh?" smile. But the door didn't open more than a few inches. I looked and saw that it was a woman's hand with red nail polish on the doorknob. Whoever was there slowly closed the door just as they had opened it, without entering the room. I jumped out of bed, ripped out my earplugs, and sort of froze there for a few seconds, while thinking rapidly. My first thought, that was not my boyfriend. Then I thought, could it have been his mom, his sister, the landlady? For some reason I concluded that it was surely the mom or sister. So I opened the bedroom door and walked into the living room. There wasn't anyone there, but the room smelled heavily of woman's perfume. Then I came to my senses and realized his mom and sisters don't have keys and had never came over before. The landlady never entered without permission. This was a stranger. I ran back into the bedroom and shut the door, now shaking heavily. There's a balcony connected to the bedroom, so despite the cold January rain, I stood on the balcony and called my boyfriend. He picked up and I asked him if his mom or sister might have came over, unannounced. "No, don't move. I'm calling the police." The police were there in a few minutes and searched the whole apartment. Of course, nobody was in there at this point. It was weird though. Nothing was missing from the apartment, despite keeping a jar full of money right next to the entrance. Nothing was even touched. In fact, it seemed like the intruder came straight into the bedroom, saw my legs on the bed, panicked, and just left. You can't open the big wooden front door without a key. For a few days, my boyfriend and I were convinced that it was a landlady being nosy, and I began to feel a little better. Nevertheless, we demanded the landlady change our locks. When she came to change them with her husband, she made a discovery. There was a square area by the keyhole that had been scratched away with something. The landlady said surely someone used tools to break into the apartment. Then, a day or two later, my boyfriend told me, "I have to tell you something, but don't freak out." He told me that the orange kitchen scissors were missing. I obviously freaked out. I tore the apartment apart looking for those scissors. It's been 6 months and those scissors are gone. So the whole thing is just creepy and weird. A stranger breaks into a nice apartment but doesn't touch or take anything valuable. Not even the jar of money sitting right next to the entrance. Takes scissors from the kitchen, goes straight into the bedroom, sees someone on the bed and leaves immediately. I never got to meet this person who opened the door that day, and I hope I never do.